When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hey guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. Let's get right into this what if, or fanfiction. Give me a second, guys. We continue where we left the story off, where he was left off. Well, basically, where we left off, as Izuku just defeated Tombstone and all his men, and debrief Inko of the situation. After a good night's sleep, Izuku woke up to the smell of food cooking as he made his way downstairs, as he saw Gwen and Cindy waiting for the food to be done. Izuku sat down with both of the girls. After a few minutes, Inko finally got done cooking breakfast and placed the food in front of everyone. Good work, everyone. During their mission. Good work, everyone. Everyone completed their mission with great success. Enjoy. As Inka herself sat down and ate breakfast with the rest of them, you have the whole day to yourselves. There are no missions or training today. I have to attend a shield meeting, so I should be home later. As everyone understood, as they nod at Inka. While everyone was eating, Inko noticed some food on Izuku's cheek. As she reached over, took a napkin and wiped it from his face. Look at that. Look at that. I did that without even realizing it. Fascinating. As she's saying this in her mind. You should be careful while you're eating pancakes. They could be quite messy. Sometimes. I'll leave you kids alone. I have a meeting to attend to. Inko realized subconsciously she sees Izuku as her son. She's too stubborn to admit it. Her pride will not allow it to admit that she has a soft spot for her alternate reality son from another world. After leaving the mansion, or the manor, and heading towards the meeting location with Nick Fury, Inko finally arrived and took a seat right next to Natasha. Before we begin, I looked over the mission reports. Over a few missions you've done. You've already made an impressive young team. They are shaping up to be quite a nicely I can't pronounce it for some reason. Well-rounded team. Nicely done. Thank you, sir. I'm quite proud of them too. They've been doing well. Alright, that's enough chit-chat. Let's get down to the main reason why I called you all here. According to our intel, the conflict with the X-Men and the Brotherhood are heating up pretty fast. Because of that, the Sentinel project has been reactivated. I need two of your team members to pose as two new students. Considering the X-Men and the Brotherhood have no idea of your little spider team outside of Charles that you have created. Understood, sir. I'll send Cindy and Izuku. But wouldn't Charles be suspicious? They're not even mutants. He's fully aware I'll be sending shield agents undercover at his school by his request. He requested it himself. I'm only helping out an old friend and stopping anything major from happening. I can't allow things to heat up with the Sentinel project in the Brotherhood. Things will get out of hand real fast. Understood, sir. I'll inform them when I get back to the manor. We have a few things we need to go over or discuss, but after that, you're all free to leave. After Nick Fury discussed several topics, they called the meeting to an end as Nick Fury and Natasha head back to their helo carrier that's floating their floating base, while Inko finished up. Sorry, as Inko finished up Izuku's new stealth Spider-Man suit. After running a few tests and finally got the completed stage, some minor details. She made her way back home. Inko walked through her front door carrying a metal case where Izuku's new suit resides, as she called a team meeting as Inko asked the staff to gather the three kids to the meeting area. As they finally enter the living room, before I begin the mission briefing, I want to explain your new suit, Izuku. As she opened up the metal briefcase, when she opened it up, Izuku only saw a tube inside it with some sort of green and black liquid. This is your new suit. Izuku couldn't help but be confused. Ingo couldn't help but cackle from his completely confusing expression on his face. As she continued explaining, you see, the liquid inside this tube is your new suit. It's the very first and only artificial symbiote. After running some tests with your blood, you have 100% bonding percentage with this suit. The suit itself will explain all the functions it has. It does have a consciousness. It's not sentient at the moment. It will serve as your personal artificial AI, but as you continue to wear this suit, it will develop its own personality and become sentient over time. It was designed to protect the host at all costs. So you don't need to worry about the symbiote trying to eat you. It's an artificial symbiote. It's not a true symbiote, so it won't have that nasty craving for human organs. As long as you eat plenty of chocolate, you should be fine. Interesting. An artificial symbiote. I've never heard of one of those before. Those weren't in my version of Earth. Interesting. As he opened up the tube, as he placed his finger into the liquid, as the liquid starts to crawl up his skin and start to go into his body, kind of tickles, but I don't really see a difference. Now let's get down to the mission. I'll be sending you two on. I'll be sending Izuku and Cindy to the X-Men Manor, to their little academy. You're to follow any orders from Xavier. Xavier gives you. The reason why you're going as posing as students. The tension between the Brotherhood and the general population has increased majorly. So apparently, I've been told that the Sentinel project has been reactivated. And Gwen, I'm sending you to Natasha. She has a few things she wants help with. You'll be leaving in a couple days. Before I forget, fire does still affect the artificial symbiote, but sound has no effect. Just keep in mind, fire is his weakness. Having fire and sound as a weakness at the same time would be problematic. Thanks, Inka. I'll keep that in mind. No problem, Izuku. can't have you being unprepared. It would look bad on me. And don't worry, girls. You also will be getting an artificial symbiote suit. Izuku's suit is the prototype. I want I want him to wear the I want you to wear these while you have your suit on activated. As she hands over some sort of futuristic bracelet. What's this for? These nifty little bracelets will analyze your performance with the artificial symbiote suit, so I can gauge if there's any improvements I need to make when I make Cindy's and Gwen's. Understood, ma'am. As he slapped the bracelet on his wrist. Alright, Gwen, we need to leave. I've already contacted your parents and gave them a good cover story, so they won't ask any questions from you not being home for about 3 or 4 days. Xavier himself should be coming to pick you up, so just relax until your mission. Inko immediately left the room with Gwen so she can start her mission with Natasha, aka the Black Widow. Leaving Izuku and Cindy by themselves. So how are you feeling? Any different? I still feel uneasy just the thought of using an artificial symbiote suit. I've heard Miss Inko talk about this. Oh, sorry. I've heard Miss Inko talk about this artificial symbiote a couple times in the past couple years. It's been kind of her pet project for a while now. So far, I feel fine. My body is tingly, but that's the only difference I see at the moment. As long as I don't have no desire to eat human organs, I think I should be good. I'm just going to have to develop a sweet tooth. What do I even call you, anyways? As the artificial symbiote pop out of his shoulder, we are called Abyss. As Abyss returned back into Izuku's body. Well, that was interesting. Why does it sound so feminine? Or why does it sound like a... Sorry. Why does it sound so feminine? If I butchered that, I have no... Yeah, I can't say that word for some reason right now. The voice is basically sounds like a female voice for his symbiote suit. Not when he's talking, but the symbiote itself sounds feminine when he's talking to Izuku. I have no idea. I just have to ask Inko about it when the next time I see her. What do you want to do until we begin our mission? We got a couple days to call. Oh, sorry. We have a couple days free. Come on, let's go to my room. As she led Izuku by hand into her room, as she sat down in front of the television in her room, as she gestured Izuku to sit down right next to her. When he finally sat down, she handed him a controller. You're ready to get your butt kicked? Video games. Interesting. Whatever. I was like, what's your plan? Whatever you plan. Sorry, give me a second, guys. Video games. Interesting. Never played. When your world is kind of pretty much a living apocalypse, you kind of don't have time for video games, but I'm up. I'm in. We'll start with Super Smash Brothers, then we'll move on the list. Yeah, I kind of have a secret weakness for fighting games. As you can see, I have several systems and my gaming PC in the corner of the room. Let's play. After several hours, Izuku beating Cindy and a bunch of other games until she put in Mortal Kombat. Then she began whooping the floor with Izuku. After her 32 win against Izuku, he was only managed to beat her 10 times out of the 32 matches they had in Mortal Kombat. This actually been really fun. I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna head off to bed, Cindy. Good night, Izuku. Thanks for hanging out with me. No problem. I enjoy your company. As he walked out of Cindy's room and headed back to his room to pass out for the night, the next couple days passed. Cindy and Izuku spent the whole time hanging out with each other, playing video games, watching movies, and training, light training, and playing a couple games of pool in the game room, in the manor itself. Sorry, the manor itself does have a small arcade as well, as they spend a good amount of time there as well, basically. Izuku and Cindy are outside having a conversation as a gust of wind come out of nowhere as the X-jet begins to hover down as a man in a wheelchair come rolling in when the jet finally landed alongside Wolverine and Storm. Hello there, I'm Charles Xavier. You must be young Cindy, correct? In Izuku. That's us. That's us, Xavier. Shall we go inside so we could discuss this in the living room? Of course. And this is Logan and Storm. They are teachers out of my academy for the gifted people like yourselves. Please follow me. Can you please make a pot of tea? As one of the maids nods at Izuku as he took Charles Xavier to the lounge area and sat down on the couch right next to Cindy. Few minutes later, a maid came in, serving tea. As came in with the tea and began serving everyone. You were probably informed that we're having trouble with the Brotherhood and the people that are responsible for the Brotherhood and the people who are responsible for reactivating the conflict. Well, sorry, try that again. As SHIELD agents, you were probably already informed of the trouble we're having with the Brotherhood and the trouble we've been getting ourselves into by the reactive Sentinel project. Because of the conflict between the X-Men and the Brotherhood, there was a ripple effect when it came to the general population. They still hold great hatred for mutants, and that hasn't decreased. It's only increased over the years. So much that the U.S. government decided to reactivate the Sentinel project. According to what intel I could gather, the Sentinel project has been reactivated under the command of someone new. No one that was originally connected to the Sentinel project is on the project currently. That does give me some hope. Hopefully they're not as all bad as the founders of the Sentinel project. The ones who runs the Sentinel project now goes by the name of David Shield, some sort of big shot in the science community in Japan. So we request to have 2 young agents to join my school that have combat experience to help with the X-Men missions to either try to talk down Eric or or talk down Eric or try to put an end to the Brotherhood. I'm interested in the Sentinel project and the one responsible for it. Never heard of David Shield. We understand our mission. That we do, Mr. Xavier. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to have to send my old friend Nick a gift basket and a couple of that couple of technology devices that we were able to develop. Shall we leave? Do you have everything you need? Yes, we do, Professor. as the staff begins to load up the luggage that Izuku had, but it was very few things compared to Cindy. She bought she brought one of her game console's clothes, accessories for a young woman as herself. For herself. Well, anyways. After everything was loaded up on the X-Jet, they sat in their seat, buckled up, as the jet took flight after hovering after hovering enough above the ground to take flight. What my old friend told me that you two have spider-like abilities. Indeed we do. We have superior speed, strength than our spider sense that's able to warn us from any upcoming danger, alongside me and Cindy's able to generally, sorry, me and Cindy able to generate webbing organically, compared, sorry, compared to, well, sorry, constructing it or organically. I'm not so sure about our other teammate, if she's able to create webbing organically. That topic has never came up. I probably should inform you that I have a artificial symbiote bonded with me. It hasn't fully bonded with me, but it feels like it's almost bonded, at least. That's how I feel about it, or that's how it feels. Izuku was about to say mother, but he stopped himself halfway through the sentence. Charles raised a eyebrow at that. Izuku continued his explanation. My artificial symbiote suit, Abyss, doesn't feast on human organs like the other symbiotes. As long as I have plenty of chocolate, I think we're good. I'm still new to this symbiote suit. I've only been bonded with Abyss for only a couple days. Do you mind if I take a look at the symbiote suit later on? I'm interested in the artificial symbiote suit. I've seen a symbiote many times, but I've never once came across a artificial one. May I ask who created it? My commander and guardian, Inko. I would like to have a in-depth conversation with her about this artificial symbiote suit, but we can wait for that for another day. We have finally arrived. When the X-Jet landed, Xavier showed the two around the inner parts of the manor, then gave them the tour to the upper parts. Ezekiel and Cindy see several teenagers around his age, between 14 to 18 years old. After they got a tour, they returned to their new rooms. Cindy's room is right next to Ezekiel's by Ezekiel's request. Xavier was completely fine with that. Xavier could easily tell that they seemed to be close friends, so he saw nothing wrong with it. He didn't even need to read their minds to tell them that they're close. If I remember right, if I remember right, I made Ezekiel and Cindy and Gwen around 15 or 16 years old. I don't totally remember. I'm not so sure at the moment. I'm sure you guys, you'd be able to tell me how old I made them and how old I am, or how old they are currently. All right, let's just continue the story. The first night there, Cindy spent a good amount of time with Ezekiel in his room. Later that night, she returned to her room to go to sleep. Ezekiel woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning, as Ezekiel and Cindy do a couple of morning exercises before they start before they start their classes. And they decide they should be able to get in a quick spar or two before they have to go back inside to get ready for their classes. After a quick stretch and jog around the manor, Cindy and Izuki started to do a quick spar with each other as as both of them get into their fighting stance. You ready to get your butt kicked? I should be the one asking you that, as he has a grin on his face. Aren't we cocky? Well, we'll just see how cocky you are when you're on the ground. As Silk, or Cindy, rushed Izuku as she threw out a punch only for Izuku to block. As she jumped up in the air to give Izuku a spin kick when he blocked when Izuku blocked her kick, she bent down on all fours and used her hands to lift up in the air and did a spinning kick in a rotation, knocking Izuku backwards a little bit from the impact of the blows of her kicks. Cynthia has a grin on her face when she saw Izuku's surprised face. I wasn't expecting that, Cindy. My spider sense didn't even go off at all. Interesting. I noticed a little thing about your spider sense since we sparred with each other a few times. I figured out as long as I don't mean any hostility towards you, the blows will actually hit without triggering your spider sense. Well, that's troubling. Sorry. Well, that's a troubling weakness. I'm going to have to work on that. Let's continue. As Izuku rushed forward, he did a cartwheel on his hands, then kicked Cindy with both of his feet. As she goes flying backwards a little bit from the impact, she watched Izuku jump onto his feet like it was a simple task. They immediately shot out web shots at each other. Each time they shot out their web, they would collide with each other's, stopping each other from making a solid hit with their webbing. After they tried to do that for a few more minutes, they both rushed forward to continue their hand-to-hand combat. The moment Izuku threw a right hook at Cindy, she ducked under his fist and grabbed the collar of his shirt and swept his legs from beneath him. As he fell down on his back, she laid on top of him, pinning him to the ground. Cindy has a cocky smirk on her face. I win. As much as she hated, she had to get off of Izuku, even though she likes the position she's in. She has developed a massive crush on Izuku over the time they spent with each other, but she's not ready to take that step, not just yet. She put her personal feelings on hold so she could be a good friend to him, to Izuku. It surprised her how much she cares about the guy. They haven't even known each other for that long. They have some sort of weird connection that she never experienced before. She has some uncontrollable attraction towards him. It takes all her willpower just to keep herself calm and collected from being around him. Cindy extended her hand out for Izuku to take it, so she could help him on his feet. Izuku grabbed onto her hand without no hesitation. The two of them made their way back into the manor to go to the room to get clean clothes and take a shower. After they did that, they had plenty of times to eat breakfast with each other, as they both went to their first class with Professor Colossus. When he sat down on his desk, he noticed a redhead girl and a boy with some sort of sunglasses alongside a girl that has brown hair, but the tips of her hair or tip of her bangs were white, alongside a blue looking guy around the age of Izuku with a long pointed tail with blue skin. Next to the blue skinned kid or guy is a brunette that's able to phase through anything, as Izuku saw her try to pick up her pencil, only for her fingers to phase through it. They spent the rest of the day taking classes together. They have all the same classes, so it was natural. It was natural they kept to themselves. No one really noticed them the whole day. They didn't even, they didn't want to draw attention to themselves, so that's why they didn't do an introduction. They're supposed to be an average student trying to get a hold of their abilities. So Izuku thought the best course of action is to stay low as much as possible. A few weeks has passed as their first mission has finally arrived. Izuku and Cindy are wearing their suits in the inner levels of the X-Men Manor, standing right next to Xavier, waiting for the rest of the team to finally show up. As the rest of the team finally gathered, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, Jean Grey, Rogue, Nightcrawler, and of course Shadowcat. Good, you all have arrived. You probably noticed two new faces. This is Silk and her partner Deku. They'll be joining your team. They've already been here for quite a while, for about a week. I'm quite impressed that they were able to attend Miss Jean Grey over there classes without them even being noticed one bit. Me and Silk wanted to make sure we don't draw any unwanted attention. I'm going to be working with them, so I'm going to be. So I guess we should bring them in while we're here. Excellent. What I'm about to say doesn't leave this room. As everyone nods in acceptance, Silk and Deku over here has been attending our school by my request. I wanted two young shield agents to attend my school so we could finally put a stop to the Brotherhood's try this again. Stop the Brotherhood or talk them down. So I asked for Shield's assistance. Existence. Assistance in this. They have combat experience. Apparently, I've been told they're a 3-person team. They've been active for quite a while now. So I believe they would be a great asset to your team. Scott, aka Cyclops, walked up to the two newcomers, extend his hand out as Ezekiel and Silk shake Scott's hand. Welcome to the team, Silk and Deku. As everyone introduced each other to everyone, to the two newcomers, as Xavier got their attention to start the mission briefing. Now that we got all the introductions out of the way, there's a group of mutants that have been causing trouble in the city. I just want your team to scout out their activities. Don't intervene unless you have to. This will be a stealth mission. I think Deku over here will be a great assistance in that aspect. As Izuku turned invisible, right in front of everyone, as he reappeared right in front of Kurt, known as Nightcrawler, boo. Kurt freaked out a little bit from being jump scared as he portaled away further in the back of the room. Sorry, man. Sorry about that. Nightcrawler, was it? I couldn't help myself, man. As he walked right back to Silk's side, smirking underneath his mask. He got a kick out of scaring Nightcrawler. Considering this is a stealth mission, your team leader will be X-23, as everyone has a pale expression, except for Silk and Izuku. Everyone that was affected by the pure mention of X-23's name They all immediately remember her so-called training combat course. She was very brutal in her teaching methods, but they were very effective. Her methods might be a little extreme, but she gets results. As a black-haired woman comes out, wearing a black, wearing a white shirt and a black jacket, wearing black jeans, comes walking into the room as she gauges everyone in the room, including the two new faces. So these are the brats I'll be doing the mission with. Let's get this out of the way. There are no hotshots while I'm on a mission with you guys, with you brats. I don't care what type of power you have or how powerful you think you are. You will follow orders. Do I make myself clear? As she saw everyone nod. Good. Don't worry, Xavier. I'll get you any intel we can. If I deem them a threat, we'll engage. We'll engage them. But for now, we'll complete your mission to your specs. All right, everyone, we're leaving. You too. As she got the attention of Silk and Deku, you're new, so I don't know what you can do. What's your abilities? We both have spider-like abilities, superior strength, speed, reflexes. We both have what you call a danger sense that we call spider sense. We're able to generally or sorry generate organic webbing. Is there anything else I'm missing, Silk? Outside of my ability to turn invisible, because of my suit. No, I think you got it all. Is there anything else you want to need? Sorry, is there anything else you need to know, ma'am? That will be it for now. As they walked towards the garage, as she took one of the keys from the garage and took one of the bigger vehicles, as she drove out of the garage in a black van, and she pulled up to the driveway and told everyone to get in. Once everyone got into the vehicle, they began to drive into the city. X-23 stopped the vehicle in an empty parking lot. All right, we're going on foot on the rest of the way. We're going to hit the rooftops. As they made their way to the rooftops, finally making our way towards a building where their target is at, as it's a rundown old apartment complex overran by a gang of mutants, between mutants and people with quirks. X-23 took out her binoculars and began observing their movements. All right, team. Something's happening in there. Their movements are too panicky. I need eyes inside. You're up, newbie. Use your ability, your invisible ability to see what's going on. Here. As she hands him an earpiece, as Izuku's mask disappeared, everyone can see his face for the first time. Green hair with green eyes. Sure thing, ma'am. As he puts the earpiece into his ear, and his mask immediately reappeared on his face. Externity has some questions about his suit, but she'll put that on hold for right now. Her main focus is the mission. Izuku turned invisible and web swing his way towards the old apartment complex. That's just one building. The apartment complex is about 3 stories high. Izuku found a open window on the second story as he swung right into the building without being noticed. As Deku found himself on the warm carpet floor off a in a empty apartment room while maintaining his while maintaining his invisibility. He made his way out of the apartment room. He finally made it to the hallway, filled with several gang members of this mutant gang. Back on back on the roof, X-23 could see Silk tapping her foot back and down. She seemed to be agitated. She could tell she seems to be extremely worried about her green hair friend. You good, Silk? I'm fine, ma'am. I'm just worried about him. I know he can handle himself, but that doesn't stop me from worrying about him. Don't worry, it won't affect the mission. I have my part to play and he has his. She gave Silk a warm smile. Don't worry. If he gets over his head, we'll roll in. I've been having him give me frequently updates on his progress. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. It's no problem, Silk. Meanwhile, they were having their little discussion. Izuku was still fully evading all the gang members. Izuku was surprised by the pure number of this gang. He was broke out of his inner thoughts when he saw one of the gang members yelling out orders. Izuku suspects that that's their gang leader or one of their higher lieutenants. So he decided to shadow the guy while he's sorry, shadowed the guy while he's entering a humongous room that was originally 2 rooms, but they knocked down the walls and rebuilt it to make it one big room. Izuku immediately went into the room as he came to face a group of people he's never seen before. A girl a little older than Izuku, wearing a bunch of hands on her face, arms, and shoulders, and a weird looking man in a suit his upper body seems like to be made of smoke. You must be the leader of this little gang of yours. Took your sweet time. I don't like to wait. If you try anything cute, I'll decay all of you. Now, this is how it's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. You're gonna cause trouble on a larger scale. The League of Villains have some business in the city while you keep everyone busy. We can do what we sorry. So we can do what we came for. And you all get to live. Any questions? And this is not a request. This is a demand. You will fall in line, or I'll dust all of you. Do we understand each other? You honestly think you threaten you honestly think you threaten us? Girl, you're just a brat, nothing but a bitch. Way out of her league. We haven't even heard anything about this League of Villains. It's probably a bunch of group of weaklings. Before he could say anything else, Shigaraki reached out her hand, grabbed onto the man's face. As she slowly decay him in front of his men. I was trying to be reasonable, but idiots like you deserve to die. Anyone else wants to try something cute, or do you want the same treatment? Once they all know their once she saw them nod their heads, as she had a smile on her face. Good. As she sat down on a desk with her legs over the over sorry. She sat over the desk, sat on a chair and put her legs over the desk itself. I'll be running the show from now on, boys. You can leave. Tomorrow we have much to do. Leave me. It didn't take long for all the gang members to leave the room. Kirigiri, we're not alone. Make sure no one leaves. I know you're there. I can't see you, but I can sense you. Come out. Please. You caught me in a good mood, so I won't immediately decay you, whoever you are. Izuku decloaked while leaning against the on the other side of the Izuku decloaked while leaning against one of the one of the walls on the other side of the room. It looks like I've been spotted. As he said it out loud so X-23 could hear. So you're the little insect that managed to swarm his way in here. Take offense to that. I'm more of a arachnid, thank you very much. Well, this has been loving, all meeting you and all. I believe the guy who... I believe I heard the guy with the smoke for a face called you Shigaraki. And that was a neat trick, how you magically decayed that guy. I love the whole hand thing. It's very ominous looking. Well, it looks like I outstayed my welcome, so I'm going to immediately head out. As he saw one of the chairs, as he kicked it up in the air, as he kicked the chair as it flew in the air, smashed it into the light bulb from the ceiling. As he immediately turned invisible and jumped out of the window, made his way back to catch up with the rest of the team. When she finally regained her sight from the light being shattered, with her when finally Kirigiri got a new light bulb in. As the light returned, as she stands in front of the window that he just flew out of. Shall I retrieve our little intruder? Young mistress? No need, Kirigiri. I like it this way. I have no doubt we'll come across him again. This makes this whole lot more interesting. Let's just concentrate on our next step. Remember why we're here. We're here to find acceptable people to give to the doctor for his little Nomu project. For some reason, he wants to create a mutant Nomu. That man gives me the creeps. But Sensei wants me to help. But Sensei wants me to do it. So I will. But it was quite rude of him. But it was quite rude of the intruder not to give me his name. After all, he knows mine. That's kind of irritating. As she begins scratching her neck. Rude. Tomorrow, gather all the members of this little gang so we could figure out what abilities they have to see if the doctor wants any of them. Then we could begin causing a lot more carnage in this city. We cut back to Deku as he finally made his way to the rest of the team. I left my speaker on when I went into the room. Did you hear everything? I heard everything. We're heading back to the matter immediately. I don't know what the League of Villain is, but it can't be anything good. Let's debrief Xavier. What we found out. Understood, ma'am. As everyone made their way back to the van and made their way back to the Xavier Manor, Laura took Izuku and Silk to Xavier's office. After Laura told what they found out, basically after they debriefed Xavier of the situation. That sounds troubling. The League of Villains. I've never heard of that group before. So you say they are about to cause a bit of trouble? We're definitely going to have to be on guard. What's your opinion on this, Izuku, considering you interacted with the leader of this League of Villains, most likely? By how you described it? Probably right about that. You're probably right about her being the leader. This League of Villains. There's one thing I can tell. She's very precise and not afraid to get her hands dirty when she wants to. She's dangerous, and her ability to decay someone from a simple touch is impressive and scary at the same time. I'm still unsure if she's a mutant, someone with a quirk, or she's one of those inhumans. And there's also a good possibility that she's a metahuman, regardless of where her power comes from. She's dangerous. She somehow managed to sense me while I was invisible. That's kind of troubling. We'll just have to move carefully from now on. Why don't you two get some sleep? You did a good job. Izuku nodded and left with Silk to go to their rooms to sleep for the night. So, how did those two perform tonight? They did well. Silk has a good head on her shoulders and knows the importance when you're on a mission. Izuku surprised me. He's talented, like he's done infiltration before. Don't know how such a young kid had that sort of experience or training. I can't really pin down it so far. I understand the two of them are connected with S.H.I.E.L.D. I can't imagine what type of training those two went through. But they're a good addition to the team. This makes things a whole lot easier. I decided because of your performance, I'm putting you in charge in this. I'm putting you in charge of the whole team. They're yours. Wait, what? You want me to lead those brats? I believe you would be the best suited to lead that group. They can learn a lot from you, especially Silk and Izuku. Laura was quiet for a few minutes or a few seconds. After Laura thought about it, she finally relented and accepted the role. Please excuse me, Xavier. Apparently, I have some preparations to make for my new team. Have to make sure they are properly trained so they don't die on the field. Good night, Xavier. Right, Laura. I have complete faith in you, and I have complete faith in you. Be ready for the. You've been ready for this for a long time. As Laura went towards her room to make up some training plans for her new students, as she needs to make sure they're prepared. Meanwhile, Izuku was about to walk into the room before Cindy stopped him before he went in. Before he went inside. You had me worried. As she briefly gave him a hug, Izuku patted her back. Izuku was surprised by the hug, but he didn't think anything of it. He has no experience when it comes to girls. He's been more worried about surviving on his original Earth. The simple task of surviving was a daily activity. So no room for romance. As they separated from each other, I'm glad you're right, though. I do appreciate your concern. I'm completely unharmed. I wasn't able to I wasn't able to get in. Sure. Get in a fight with someone who can clearly decay someone by a touch of their hands. No, thank you. I like where my body is. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow, Cindy. During our morning training. Cindy said goodnight to Izuku and went into her room to go to sleep finally. She had a stressful day, having one of her friends be in a dangerous situation without unable to help him and help him in any way. as that's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Try by time zones. I'll catch you next video. Oh, I'm tired.